Welcome to Talking Jazz. My guest today is Holly Schlott. I'm in Vienna. They are in Berlin, and we're sharing thoughts, we're sharing music. And this is a very special connection for me as we've been even playing a little bit together and over the years had some further deep interactions, but we'll talk about it. So, welcome, Holly.
Welcome, Monika. Nice to see you or hear
It's
you this morning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good to have you. And we'll start off, we'll go through some of your music over time, and we'll start off with a piece that's from 1999. So we'll look back on
In the
who is
last century.
Holly, where did you come from, the last century.
Yeah.
So just give us a quick synopsis of who is Holly Schlott and where are you from, where you grew up, because that's really interesting.
Yeah, welcome all the beautiful jazz friends and listener here outside. And I have to say I'm really not nervous but excited because when I met Monika the first time, it was I think at the Jazz Ahead also
Mhm.
some years ago. So
Mhm.
we had a nice connection over the years, but not so very often. But always when I see her or you, then it was always a beautiful Begegnung. Yeah, celebration. So now I come to me with your question. I grew up in the really former East, in the south of the former German Democratic Republic, GDR.
Mhm.
And it was in the little corner where the three countries came together, Germany, West Germany, East Germany, and Czechoslovakia. So this
Gotcha.
little point there,
Mhm.
this we call it, yeah, a little. We have a little mountains there, but not so high, and it's a nice landscape, and it's really sehr gemütlich. It's very. I came from a little village with 250. Wie heißt das?
Inhabitants.
Genau. Exactly.
250, that is very small.
Yeah, and one of them was the little Volker in this time, and he decided to play a song with his father when he was sitting on the kitchen table and played zither. I don't know the right word in English, zither, you know?
Zither, yeah. It's
Okay.
the same thing. It's
He
the thing
was
you pluck that has strings, just to explain if somebody
so it
doesn't
looked
know.
like a beautiful house music, folk music, what
Mhm.
my father did. He was actually a carpenter. And when he had time, so he played a little bit for the family and for himself also.
Nice.
So when I was six, around six, I picked up the little blockflöte recorder.
Recorder.
Yes. And I tried to follow him with the melody. He played a very famous song, da, ba, 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 da, 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 da. And I listened to, and I found the right holds on the flute, and I played immediately the melody. And so that was the point to start to think about, oh, this little guy has something talent, has a little talent maybe. So we bring him to the music school. So that was the start of my whole music experience. And I guess it was a very important when I talk to the student now also. I think it's very important when I looked back to the last 25 years when I teach at a university, that I was more concentrated on these. Excuse me, I'm jumping from here to here.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
But to listen, but it's a very important fact in my whole life that I my first experience, my first contact with music was over the years, and that is very
Hmm.
important. I found out later,
Hmm.
and now I practice more with the students to come back to these ear training and music,
Hmm.
yeah, more listening to yourself and to the other people when you play, and so on. But yeah, that was the beginning and where I come from. And then when I was 16, I had a really another important step in my life was I got a really beautiful teacher. He was so inspiring me in the in the right moment to show how beautiful is music, how beautiful is what joy can be inside and you can bring to other people. But I didn't understand, of course, not in this age, what does it mean. What does it mean? Actually, I got it many, many years later. This is always the same story. But now I can tell that I'm in the age now where where I'm very, very, very thankful. And I say every morning when I wake up, thank you that I got the chance to go this path and doing music and still playing and have have a lot of fun to play music.
I would love to talk maybe a little later more about East German part in a little village too, but I think we should listen to some music in between to get a taste of Holly. And this first one we're going to listen to is called Asi Afri. It's from, I think the recording is called Pamagira. It's from 1999. So give us a little glimpse on what we can expect and what to listen for in this one.
Asi Afri, when I'm thinking back, it was one of the most exciting projects what I did with a piano player, and later on we invited percussionists also, and Henning Schmid is the name of the piano player. I met them all now when I did my 45 anniversary concert on stage and my birthday concert in Berlin. I brought all this interesting people together again, and I saw, oh, there's a lot of substance in this music still. When I listen again after 20 years, there was really some nice music. So wie sagen wir, zeitlos, timeless, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The composition is like chamber music for me, and it was another part in my music development that we went back to the studios and we played really like chamber music, so like classical, so very good in tune and very good, you understand? And that's the song or what I wrote. And this time when I was in love, I guess, with a woman, and I'm telling you secrets now.
We'll talk about it.
Vancouver,
Yeah.
Vancouver, yeah, she was
she
was African and Asian. So very beautiful, interesting mixture. And I dedicated the song to her.
That's really cool. All right, let's have a listen. Asi Afri from Pamagira. And we're talking today to my guest, Holly Schlott. Here we go. that was Asi Afri, a selection Hamagira. Okanagan was the recording, and I'm talking today to my guest, Holly Schlott. This was a taste from early on, late 90s. Well, not really early on, but earlier in the career. And we talked a little bit about growing up in a small village in East Germany, and me coming from West Germany, that was an interesting time for everybody and being separated. But you did make your way to Berlin eventually. So tell us a little bit how you got to Berlin and the transformation you've seen there.
It's a very really important for a part in my life. It's again, my father was the Schicksals person.
Faithful messenger.
Yes, right, all right. Because actually I would have stayed in this area where I grew, and I was already signed in as a teacher, a student to learn to become a teacher. And then my father came one day with an older, 2 weeks old paper, and in the paper was a little announcement for that the Hochschule für Musik in Berlin, Hans Eisler, they have still looking for students in the brass department. So if you're interested, please, and so on. And this little piece of paper he gave me, and I said, yeah, I was around 15 or 16 in this time. And I said, okay, why not? Let's try this. But I was really naive. I had no idea from a big city. So Berlin was really, from my point of view, was a really big city with millions of more people than Hunsgrün was the name of my little village, by the way, Hunsgrün. And then I tried it. Only just went to Berlin with my first really big trip going, and we had also a train station in Hunsgrün.
One train.
I went downstairs to the train station. We had one track or two tracks only. And the way to Berlin, so it took me over 5 or 6 hours, and then I came and I played in the university, and they took me. So that was it turned my life really to a totally opposite way of thinking and experiences what I couldn't imagine in this time, So it was a big step to go in a totally other direction. And I'm also thankful for this for my father. He's now in heaven, but he still can feel it, I guess. Yeah. So that was the turning point. Yeah.
That's right. I can so relate to that because, you have these moments where you have to say yes. For me, it was an exchange program and I just bought a one-way ticket just because, because realizing that's a moment that you have to take it or leave it,
Monika, I have to say also to add that in this time I wasn't really aware about that I will become a jazz musician later. It was really in my neighborhood was not so much, jazz was not really a big thing there. So we listen to the normal radio hit parade, whatever, pop rock, Blasmusik,
Right.
the German Blasmusik. But then the turning point was at the school when I studied, when I was 3 years later, a guy came, my first band leader took me out and invited me to the first fusion band when I was 18. And that was also the next turning point to going to the jazz life, the second one.
Yeah, take several turning points. And boy, I can so relate to everything you're saying, also growing up in a small town in the West and finding jazz and all that. So I know what you're talking about. Let's put in some more music and then we'll keep talking about it. So this next one is called Echos vom Müggelsee. So back to the beautiful German landscape, and we'll actually hear brass and horns, so that might relate. So tell us a little bit what we should listen for and what to expect on this one.
Yeah, I have to, because it's also another special, exciting try to make to produce music, because in this time The fun horns is my longest or my how can we say stable band what I had since 38 years now,
Wow.
and we still play.
Wow.
We had a time when we started to meet every week to rehearse, but we not rehearsing tunes or scores.
Mhm.
We rehearsed to improvise together, so like instant composing,
Wow.
another kind of composing our own music. And
Mhm.
we tried only to listen to each other and try some beautiful compositions to improvise. It should sound like an improvised song, but it was improvised. And so we tried after 1 year to go in a record studio, and we recorded a lot of music and exact in this system or yeah with the system. And in the end, we decided for the best parts. So it's a very easy concept. I start something. Each person has to start a song, a melody or a structure or whatever.
Mhm.
First idea, and we are the other coming in later with a kind of instant arranging the song and listen to what is the first idea, and we stay with the idea. And that's what was my idea, like this echo kind of echoes from Müggelsee. It's a sea, a little in Berlin, yeah. It's
Little lake in Berlin.
Lake, lake.
The sea is the ocean.
Yeah, that's the was the fantastic time what we tried with the fun horns. So we did a whole album, of course, with and later on we tried to transcribe all this music because it was, and it looks really funny when you look at the notes, the scores. It is so actually you can sometimes, yeah, that's what I played. It's really complicated sometimes. But if you are improvised, you know it better than me, that improvising is always another, yeah, another Quelle, search source,
Source.
where it comes from, and nobody can explain it where it comes
That's really fascinating. I love the concept that it's improvised because
from.
when
Yes,
you listen to it, you wouldn't realize. I mean, it sounds
exact.
very planned, and I also love the idea, and I agree that sometimes the things you play, if you would transcribe it afterwards and replay it, it's way more complex. You just let it out. So let's have a listen. So this is Echoes from Müggelsee. These are the Fun Horns, a 2018 release by my guest today, Holly Schlott, who you also hear on saxophone, but there'll be Falk Breitkreuz on tenor sax, Rainer Brennecke on trumpet, and Jörg Huke on trombone. That was Echos vom Müggelsee, a improvised composition by the Fun Horns. And we're talking to Holly Schlott today, who is the leader of the group, who you heard on saxophones. Since we're going through chronologically through the story, we got to Berlin now. We got to the great opportunity to study there. And, you know, we have to say that this was before the wall came down. So Berlin looked very different than today. And I, coming from the West Side, I didn't even get there until the 90s, you know. So I don't even know. So give us a glimpse on when you started and the changes you saw once the wall came down.
It's another exciting part in my life because this is really it's a giant change, of course, in the history also. And we were lucky to be exact in this part. It's another story behind there. I could say I'm not 100% lucky in this time because our daughter, when I lived with my first wife together, she had cancer, and exact at this time in around 98, 89, 89, 90, and she couldn't make it really in the end. So that's the bad story, the sad story. But it was exactly in this time where the wall fell down, and so I was really busy with so much other things in my head. So it was too much to filter and to take in this time. But the good thing was we could be
Experience
yeah.
the life, yeah.
And it was such a big, always every year when I looked in the TV documentations about this time, I get tears in my ears still, as it's really so 30 years ago, because it was so big. Before, we started, I lived and worked really 10 years as a jazz musician in East Germany, and it wasn't so bad. It was really good for me, and I can tell you, if you believe or not, this was a good time to settle or to make the beautiful basic education, and to study all the music what I want to do, what's in me, in myself. Because I started also composing a lot of this in the first 10 years and had different projects also. And so I had really the quietness to go inside in me and to check out what is the most interesting, or what would I love to do, or what is the most important thing what I have to do as a musician. So I later on I experienced that in West Germany sometimes, of course, there was a totally different situation. Or when I talked to other musicians, they told me that sometimes it's not so easy. You have to find also some possibilities to hold your existence level, or how can I say, to exist, just
Right.
to exist. And so we had the quietness in East Germany 10 years when I started playing music, that I could really look around very intense about what I wanted to do later. And so this was really a good basic what I still...
I'm still taking advantage, or having the advantage of having had that time. So yeah, I understand what you're explaining, and you know, having this period where you have the liberty to explore without the burden of I have to fill the fridge tomorrow. You know, there's opportunities. That's really worth a lot.
And with of course also with the bad or negative side, that we couldn't go out with our good ideas.
Right.
so hard to go out to. And this was always a wish when musicians came together. Oh, it's nice, we can play music, but I want to show it to other people.
Yes, right.
That was always the wish. And then came this point in 89, excuse me, that we could go out. But we had also, as a musician in jazz, we had also the opportunity some years. My first outside gig, I would say, was 1985 in Denmark, in Copenhagen, with the jazz big band. And it was amazing, of course, for me, like a dream. Then from this time on, we had some little invitations also from the fun horns. And so you have to go all this about this Künstleragentur, over the Künstleragentur in East Germany, and they decide if you get the passport on this day where the concert is, in the morning. It was always, can I go out today or not? Could I get the passport, the visa? So that was always exciting.
A little more than exciting. That's scary.
But then also I saw, of course, I had I could see both sides, how we live in the East and how is the West musician's life. Also, it's not so easy like it looked from the distance, Altogether, I would say we were really lucky to grow up in this time. We had no war in this time. We had no negative things around, only the good, except the personal, private things what we also to deal with. But well, I would say we are lucky, our generation.
It's a very positive standpoint, and I appreciate that. Obviously there was things you just didn't have access to, resources you didn't have. One of my best friends grew up in Leipzig, and we're comparing now, so we're the same age, so there's a whole different growing up. I would say yes, we're lucky that we saw this wall came down. I remember I was gone, I was already in Alabama, and they brought it on the news, and I thought they were joking. I couldn't believe that it was happening. It was such a nearly surprise, for us being already gone. But let's listen to some more music, and then we'll continue the story. This next one is called The Journey Home, and this is a group you call Favo, I would say. It's a wordplay, I guess, on the people included. So tell us a little bit about the group and what to listen for in this one.
Yeah, Favo. This is one of from the last projects what I started. It's already also, I guess 12 years or something ago. But we started with Falk on the bass clarinet and Volker on the saxophone. That's why we found Favo. And it was quite similar also to the Fado. And I thought, this sounds good, Fado and Favo. It's a nice sound. So we started also, when we were of tour in Siberia with the fun horns, we had a lot of invitations with the Goethe Institute. And so once we started a little bit earlier, Falk and me, we went to the stage, the soundcheck, and the other brass guys wasn't there, not yet. And so we started playing around with the bass clarinet and soprano sax, and it sounded so good. And he was also practicing in this time a lot of standards, so lead sheets, also standards to play. Like I call him the Bobby McFerrin of the bass clarinet, because he played really everything in the same time: bass lines, melodies, and so chords also. So, and we found a new concept, and I told him, hey, let's do this a little bit more often. And so we found our little favorite songs, and we recorded the first one, and so on. We continued in the next years, and so we had already 3 or 4 CDs released, and one of the last one called The Journey Home. And we invited also very talented young Belgian singer. He was also a student of mine when he had a exchange Erasmus program in Berlin. And since then we played as a trio, and it's so heartwarming music for me and all the people together. This is really a fantastic trio. I love this, and I try everything to get more jobs in the moment for it. And one was also a dedication to Keith Jarrett. That's why we do also some not only compositions, also a lot of
Oh, that's really cool. Well, I was going to comment that it has a bit of Pat Metheny touch in this one, I guess because of the vocals line on top, and it reminded a bit. Yeah, let's have a listen, and we will continue then our stories. I love the way we progress here through time. So this is called Favo 3. This was recorded pretty recently in 22, The Journey Home, and it features my guest today, Holly Schlott, on soprano and C melody, sax, percussion, and keys, and Falk Breithaupt on the bass clarinet and alto clarinet, and then we have Sander Devine on voice and some percussion. That was The Journey Home and the group Favo 3. And you heard my guest today, Holly Schlott, on the soprano C melody sax, but we should also point out that percussion and keyboards and producing and so much more comes from that same source. Holly, let's talk about, you had a transformation, and this C melody sax that you're playing on this recording is a key aspect in it. Share a little bit those last 5 years and what came about.
I have to say, Monika, it's really, I'm getting more excited after when I talk and come into all these beautiful topics you ask me. And excuse me for my broken language sometimes because I'm really
fine. We're getting the thoughts. That's the important thing.
Kind of nervousness or a beautiful, positive excitement. The two spirit that you ask for the C melody. The C melody was another long story in my life because I found this instrument at somewhere in Dresden. It's called Saxophonmesse, where all the exhibitionists, no, maybe has this Aussteller, yeah.
Yeah, exhibits, yeah.
They sell
Yeah,
the saxophone and
saxophones.
old and new ones, and I found this. Actually, I'm a soprano and alto player, also the higher register. And
Mm-hmm.
so I loved to play one and a half note lower, could play with the same melody. It was a warm sound, more warm sound, a strange sound in the first moment, but I took it. I had some money with me and I could buy this for 500 euros. It was really not so expensive. But then I couldn't find really the right
The right.
access to the whole sound of the horn. So there was always somewhere in a higher register I couldn't get it. So it was I put it in the corner again, and there was this horn was laying 7 years in my flat in the corner. I said I have to do something. I have to sell it maybe now. And I took it again and I played, and it was always already in this time when I lived alone, and so I was split from my first wife, and I started really composing, and I started really sitting every night on the keyboards and composed and improvised music, and so I got a lot of material together, and it was in the first moment was more experimental, more avant-gardistisch, I would say, but in the end, I decided more for the beautiful or good, nice melodies and nice harmony songs. So not so much experimental anymore. But the important point now is that I took the horn again and I played a little bit over these recordings. What I did, I recorded this and I found out, wow, something has changed. Something is different now. And I heard in this moment, oh, exact. I recognized it's me, because this C melody is exact in between as alto sax and the tenor sax. So I thought, wow, this is my Geschichte, my story.
Sorry, yeah.
I understand now, and I started practicing and recording, and the sound better and better. And in the end, I decided I played all the instruments myself, so with the keyboards, of course, and programmed, and then because it was still a secret, I couldn't go out, not yet, with my transgender experience. So I recorded everything, mixed it, and so I gave it to a record label, and they said, wow, yeah, it's nice, we want to do it. This CD from the Two Spirits came out in 2018. Yeah, it was the year when I also did my wie sagt man dazu?
When you came out as a transgender.
Yeah, it was really a big, and the saxophone, since then, this is my protagonist.
Protagonist, yeah. It's the same word.
I fell in love with this horn, and I play also a lot of solo concerts in the moment, only with the C melody.
Wow.
It's a whole tour through Germany in the moment I'm doing. It's just so peaceful for me. It sounds for me like I arrived, I love this horn, and because it shows exact my range from the identities, from right to left or from red to blue, however you want to call it. There's everything inside, and it's not a duale, it's he or she, it's really both together. It's a unique thing.
It's a unique mix, yeah, and we we talked quite a bit about it, and of course your album, The Two Spirits, was based on this belief that gender is not a duality, but it's a spectrum.
Yes.
And everybody's somewhere on the spectrum, and the Indians and the Native Americans knew that, or that was their belief, and it makes a lot of sense. We created this duality, and it's tricky.
If I can add this, of course, it's called Two Spirits, the album, because I studied again the history of these two spirit people and what they have done with these people, our European Christian white people, when they came to America. And I was so sad in this moment, and I wanted to dedicate this album to all these people, because I felt so connected in this moment. Even I can't use this term for myself, Two Spirit, because it's only allowed for the people who come from this cultural environment.
That's an important addition, especially in our times where we have to make really sure we tribute to where things come from and where the roots are. Based on that story, we're going to listen to the tune Nothing Is Wrong, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of expresses story, and it's not wrong, it's just a realization. So, and this is all instruments, you programmed this all. This is just you on the recording, right? What mindset should we go into this?
Enjoy this beautiful feelings. It's so different. I can say if I look back to this time, sometimes I don't really understand where it came from. All the ideas, the melodies. I played totally different melodies, also with the horn. It came from another source. And it was really deeply inside of my innerst feelings, what I had at this time, and it came out somehow.
Came out, how beautiful. All right, here is Nothing Is Wrong from the album Two Spirits, a 2018 release by my guest today, Holly Schlott, who you hear on all instrument and all production. That was Nothing Is Wrong from Two Spirits, a 2018 release by my guest today, Holly Schlott. And we talked about the transformation that took place then. This is when I got to know you. And of course, you know, I was able to relate with a kid that just did a similar transformation, and watching that. Just recently, we ran into each other again at the famous Jazz Ahead where all the jazz musicians gather. And I caught you the day after you won a major prize. You got the German Jazz Prize in the saxophone category, right? Tell us a little bit, what does it mean for you overall? And
You meet me here in another exciting moment. I'm still flying a little bit of these news, what I got 1 month before. And I didn't believe it that in these, after 45 years, I'm doing music and composing and playing jazz. And after such a long period, they come back to me, and it was really like a late, I call it, in German we say das späte Mädchen.
Late bloomer.
But this has another meaning also in Germany for the späte Mädchen, heißt alte Jungfer oder sowas.
Yeah, right, true.
This was really amazing when I got the message in the beginning of the year that I'm nominated for this prize. I thought, wow, how comes that somebody reminds me or remains on my person? Or I waited for this special day, 26th or
Because I
7th.
remember we played in New York that night and we flew over, so that's why I remember the
But
date.
it was really an amazing day for me. I took my better half, of course, and we enjoyed to be at this beautiful place in Bremen. I couldn't believe that I was the one who, yeah, got this prize for the reed section this year. I take it like a
A late acknowledgement, or it's an acknowledgement of your work and of many years contributing
yeah.
beautiful music. We talked about, to showcase a little bit, the album you talked about that you just came out, where you play the solo melody C sax, and that you're touring right now. So I think we should do that and just listen to it. You called it the Impro Sunday, so most likely it's been done on a Sunday.
It has, of course, another idea behind, because it was exactly in this time when we had 2020, the first lockdown, March, April, when everything stopped, the whole life, also for the artists and the culture and for the music. I wasn't really sure how can we come through this time, and I was sitting at home and I had an idea. I went to the neighbors. She had the key for the church, our church, and around the corner. It's a very nice big church, good reverb, and I decided in this time to go, like, do every night, every at 6 o'clock in the evening, and doing a meditation. It's called sax meditation. And then I started to think, hey, I should give it also to other people. And I started my little phone with the Facebook Live every day, and you could really waiting for that. The people are already asking me, is this today the same what you did last day, or can we be a part of this? And so they were waiting for the every night 6 o'clock meditation. I took my colleague, the sound engineer from Funhorns, Jörg Huke. He built also a Kunstkopf and a normal stereo recording, so we have two different varianten. And now I'm going through all these beautiful churches around in Germany or Switzerland or Austria. It's a long-term project, yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. And obviously there's plenty of those beautiful churches in the areas to do that. All right, let's have some healing on Impro Sunday. And this is the solo melody sax, and is a new release that we can listen to and find. And my guest Holly Schlott on the C melody sax. That was Impro Sonntag, Improv Sunday, and you heard my guest Holly Schlott on the solo melody sax, a new release that they are touring right now through churches all around the German-speaking countries here, beautiful churches. We'll take it out on one that's called Abschiedslied, which is a farewell song. And this is from 1996. So we're actually closing the circle to where we started at the beginning with the history, and it's a quartet that's being featured. Quick closing on what's next and what should we enjoy in our Abschiedslied here.
This Abschiedslied is really a special part also in my life because it was one of my first own bands what I created and where I was also composing a lot. And I got also for this CD Saxophon-Restaurant 90, I got Jahrespreis der deutschen Schallplattenkritik. It was also
huge, yeah. It's like a Grammy in Germany.
I tried to find my music already in these years with the quartet in '85, and we played a long time together, I guess 15 years or something, but then I stopped. I was a little bit, yes, I had no ideas anymore to go, and I started with another band. So, but the time was really also great because we tried also already the concept of more instant composing, going on stage, playing together and not talking about tunes or whatever. Something must be happened with the music, and we were also good together. And but also I liked in this time to compose like so beautiful or trivial, I would say trivial melodies or music.
So, all right. Thank you so much for talking with us today and sharing your story and your music. To find out more, what's the website address we should send everybody to?
Yes, this is www.volker-schlott.de.
So VOLKER dash SCHLOTT.de. So look for the music and enjoy. And here's the farewell song, Abschiedslied, that features the, at that time, Volker Schlott Quartet. Why not 1996? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monika, for this beautiful talk. Thank you, and all the best for you. Yeah.
listening to Talking Jazz. My guest today was a saxophonist, educator, composer, producer, Holly Schlott. You can hear Talking Jazz every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Mondays at 7 p.m. on WETF 105.7 in South Bend, Indiana, or online at jazzradiowetf.org, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on WICR 88.7 Indianapolis. Previous shows are also on my YouTube channel, Monika Herzig, MonikaHerzig. Please subscribe to the Talking Jazz playlist. Thank you for listening.